Hello and welcome back. In this class, we're going to write a book or we're going to become authors of a book. Alright, so let's get started. Firstly, I'm going to start with my HTML tag obviously, and inside the HTML, the head tag and obviously the body tag. Alright, so let's just say this is the front cover of our book, right? So obviously inside the head, maybe we can have a title, my book. And inside the body, we're going to start writing the details of the book, right? Firstly, we need to have a big heading, the book title. So obviously we're going to have a big heading, which is H1. If you remember, we have levels of different headings. H1 is the biggest and H6 is the smallest heading. So we're going to use H1 obviously. And in H1, we're going to say my book title. Let's get creative here. We can just say Adventures in the Land of Web Development. Right? And down below, what we can do is we can add a small catch line or a small subtitle, you know, how we have the Harry Potter books, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Just like that, we'll have a small subtitle. And for that, for now, I'm going to use a paragraph. I'm going to say Introduction to HTML and CSS. Alright, then we're going to write the name of the author, in this case me, and in your case you, your name, right? I'm also going to add another paragraph and I'm going to say Vamshi Krishna. Alright, so if I'm going to save it, and if I'm going to go back and click on refresh, it's going to look something like this. Yours might look a lot more smaller. It's going to look somewhere around this perspective. I'm just zooming it in so that you can see the code clearly. Alright, so now that we have this thing set up, let's look at a normal book, right? If we look at any other book covers, what usually happens, the heading is the heading. The subtitle is sometimes in italics. You know how italics is, right? And the author name is usually in bold, right? So how do we italicize things, or how do we make things bold? That's what we're going to look into now. So if I take this, if I remove the P tag and if I say the tag is EM, EM basically means emphasis. Right? If I say EM and if I'm going to save and if I'm going to go back and refresh, you can see that the text has been italicized. Alright? So EM stands for emphasis, basically meaning italicizing. Alright? Now if I want to bold something and I don't want to make it a heading, but I just want to make it bold, what I can do is I can just say strong. Right? I'm going to save and I'm going to go back, refresh. It's strong. Right? Perfect. So the reason why this has jumped up is because when we earlier we had the two different paragraphs. So HTML basically knows that, you know, a paragraph is different from another paragraph. So it knows that, you know, one paragraph must be below the other paragraph. But since these two are just HTML elements, HTML is basically going to continue them side by side. All right. So now if I just want to have a small line in between them, we can obviously use BR, which is a break tag. I hope you all remember. So BR basically ends that line and starts a new line. Alright, BR is the break tag. And since we're not going to have anything inside the BR tag, it's just a single tag, right? It doesn't have an opening or it doesn't have an ending. It's just one single tag. Alright, so now that we have these three, I'm going to show you one more small trick. For example, I have a paragraph, and in the paragraph, I'm going to just have some text. I'm just going to say, you know, Adventures of the Web Developer in the Land of HTML and CSS, along with his skills as his weapons. Something along those lines. Alright. Now if I go back and if I refresh, what if I want to italicize the web developer part, and what if I want to make the HTML and CSS bold? How do we do that? Basically what we can do is, I'm going to reduce this. Okay, yeah, I think you can see this a lot more better. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to add a tag inside another tag. I'm going to add the emphasis tag inside the paragraph tag, and I'm going to do it something like this. All right, web developer. I'm going to just paste it in between this. All right. So if you see inside the paragraph, inside the paragraph tag, we are using another tag, which is the emphasis tag. And whenever we write something in between the emphasis tag, it basically becomes italics. So if I go back and if I refresh, you can see that adventures of the web developer is in italics. Basically, we can emphasize it. And similarly, if I want to make the HTML and CSS as bold, in our case, we have to use a strong tag. I can just say strong, and in between these two tags, and in between the opening and closing of the strong tag, I can just say HTML and CSS. And if I refresh, there it is. In one paragraph, we have like multiple different styles highlighting different parts of the text. Adventures of the web developer in the land of HTML and CSS, along with his skills as his weapons. And in this normal paragraph, we added some style into it. We added some sort of, tonal differences into it by adding the italics as well as the strong tags. All right. So that is how you italicize things, or that is how you make things bold, apart from using headings. All right. So once again, remember, EM basically means emphasis. That basically means italicizing things, and strong basically means you're going to make it bold. All right. Perfect. I'll see you in the next one.